Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run7. How you doing? We're going over Prominence defense today. Chat says that we're going to get an A+ defense on this one. We grade on 5 different criteria. It's who you're using, their placement, their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. If you want to be a part of the discussion before and in between and after all these little things and catch some of the stuff that doesn't make it to the YouTube recycle, then come find me on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a heck of a party. All right, getting started on this team number 1. Okay, well, look at this. We got filler garbage that ain't stopping nothing. It's better than shield guards. It's better than shield guards. And you know what? It's not a total waste. You've got villain mutants, so you're going to get a taunt from Strife. It'll buy you enough time. Toad's going to pop off and put a taunt on Blob. Yeah, you're definitely going to have enough time for Sinister to clone somebody. So they're not going to want to come into this with a single big tune because that's the tune Sinister's going to clone. They're going to have to come into this with some leftover garbage, punch down on it or punch across on it or whatever and wipe it out. Is what it is. It's definitely not a waste. That's one thing it is not. So I'm going to give it an A. This is a team that you could build up. You know, if you wanted to build them up. They're just old and they're not worth the investment though. So you don't want to put in the ISOs. It's actually kind of a shame that you built Strife up to war ready levels. I don't know why you did that. Probably just to let Sinister get enough time to pop off. Whatever, it's a filler team. It needs a lot of work, obviously. I can't justify investing in it though, because there's other stuff coming down the pipe that's going to be better. Team number 2 with a lot better quality picture. This is a fantastic defense for newer players to build. They're easy to get to. You don't have to build them very high for it to be effective. In fact, you don't even need to touch Red Skull. You could leave Red Skull in there completely untouched and then build up 4 minions to go in with it. And it becomes a challenging team because Red Skull gets 100% damage reduction with 4 minions, or 4 Hydra people, actually. And then with the 8 charges on it, it's really tough for people to get to Red Skull and kill him. And it forces them to come in with more of an investment than you put into the defensive team. So I think it's a fantastic team to build at any level and apply to your defense, especially for newer players. And when you build this team, you should do pretty much just like this. Build Grenadier as a striker because later you might want to use him as his synergy with Zemo. And then you can use Red Skull as a healer or a fortifier or a striker, or you can do anything with Red Skull, it doesn't matter. And then the rest of them are all going to be fortifier because they die and revive and they come back with that little bit of barrier. I personally think that this team is worthy of making war ready, at least the minions. And I think that Red Skull is a valuable enough character that you could actually build him up and use him elsewhere. But it's not necessary. He's not a necessary character. None of these are necessary at all. I just think it's a fun defense. I think it's easy to build. And I think you do get a lot of value out of it from a defensive perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and give this an A. I like it just fine. Team number 3, Mercs. And it's one of my favorite builds too. Great placement. Pretty good ISOs. I would like to see Killmonger on this team as a striker, but you built him probably for the Wakanda team or something, and you made his native ISO of Raider. He's got a lot of synergy there. In fact, most of these guys have their native ISO synergy. Personally, my favorite build is like this team with either Killmonger or Bullseye in here, and then everybody is a striker except for Taskmaster as a skirmisher. That's my favorite. It just opens up fast and you get a lot more damage out of it, and it can actually catch people off guard. But this is fine. I would like to see Killmonger changed or swapped out with Bullseye as a striker to get more of those triple hit combos off of Taskmaster. Placement's great. Character use is fine. I'm just going to go A- on this one. It's pretty decent. Team number 4. Looks like some hot trash we threw together, a little bit of shield synergy going on. Your medic is not going to stay alive to revive Coulson, so I think that's kind of a waste. Shield trooper is garbage. Replace him with anybody that's bigger. There's just nothing going on there. Captain Marvel is just kind of a plug and play hitter for this team. And then you got Yo-Yo doing yo-yo things with her synergy with Coulson. If and when you unlock Black Bolt and maybe... who's the girl that does lots of stuff? She's got the weird black stripe on her head. Crystal, when you get her, I'm terrible at names, by the way. If you're new to this segment, like I never get names. Check out the one where I did my own team, and yeah, it's terrible. Okay, anyway, I like Crystal and Black Bolt, and that makes a much better team. You could also throw Surfer in here with that setup for the Coulson yo-yo Inhumans kind of thing going on. But these look like you're just filling in some slots until you get more tunes unlocked and get more stuff going. You should definitely get at least level 1 ISO. Oh man, I think we actually found a character not worthy of even 1 ISO 8 crystal, and that's Shield Trooper. He is really horrible. But I would put at least level 1 ISO healer on Medic so she puts out that minor rejuve on turn, if she even takes a turn on this team. Otherwise, the rest of the ISOs are okay. Yeah, go level 1 Raider on him if you're gonna keep him, but please take him out, put somebody else in there. Either replace her or put like, you know, bring her up to like gear tier 9 or something so that she at least stays alive long enough to revive Coulson if he dies. A tank might be a good choice on this team, like a pre-taunting tank or something. I don't know. Doesn't really excite me. You could also make Coulson a Raider, but I do like his basic rewind, so I do like him better as a striker, but there's only 1 vulnerable getting put out on the field and 2 strikers soaking him up. So a lot of different things you could do differently there. I'm gonna give you a B for that team. It's not very exciting. Team number 5 is the Wave 1 Avengers. Classic build, perfect placement, great ISOs. Arguably, you could reverse the Striker Skirmisher combo on Black Widow and Hawkeye in case you're thinking about building the Skilletary team in the future. I like her as a Skirmisher on that team, so I like to reverse these. Also, Hawkeye has great synergy as a Raider, too, if you just want to replace her altogether with somebody else. But I think this is fine. I'm going to give you an A for this team. Works great, looks good. Moving on. Team number 6, PymTech. Okay, perfect ISOs. Bad placement. Let's go. Actually, you know what? This isn't bad placement. This is different from what I normally suggest, but it works just fine. You've got your 2 tanks off to one side, and she's the first one taunting. He's the second one taunting. So I think this works okay. Personally, I like to see it go Stature, Wasp, Yellow Jacket, Ghost, and then Ant-Man. Did you see me get through all those names? I did it. I did it, guys. I got through all those names without stuttering too much. Okay, that's the way I like to see the placement, but this is just as effective, so I'm not going to dock you for it. I love the ISOs and who you're using. You built Ghost up. You don't build the rest of them up. You kind of built Yellow Jacket up. I don't know why Stature's built up so much, but it doesn't matter. It's good enough. Giving you an A for the team. Team number 7 is the AIM team. Personally, I like the Researcher character better than Monstrosity, but maybe you got higher stars or built him up more or whatever, so you went with that. It's fine. I also like putting the minions in the middle so that their adjacent properties do their adjacent things. Researcher is the only one who doesn't need to be in the middle, and she's not on the team. You have AIM, what is this? This is AIM Security, and this is AIM Assaulter, right? Okay, AIM Security does adjacent healing, so you're missing out on that one. Swap places with Graviton and AIM Security, I think, is probably the best way to go. Otherwise, let's see, healer, 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 skirmisher, healer. Wow, lots of healers on there, huh? Didn't know what to do. Yeah, you wasted ISOs doing that. Healer on this one is okay. Should have gone either Striker or Raider on this guy. Striker or Raider on Graviton. And then Skirmisher I like there, and Healer I like there. So these 2 ISOs I don't like, and I think you wasted a lot. I'm going to give you a B+ for this team. Fix the placement, change those ISOs. You'll be doing better. This team isn't worthy of actually changing those ISOs, though. So it's just for those of you who are considering building this team or want to build it for some strange reason. I don't know. Maybe MODOK will come out. Who knows? Moving on. Team number 8. Ooh, it's a Chavez build. It's something different. You're giving that 25% turn meter to Ultron and Surfer. That's fantastic. You got a pre-taunt tank over here and defense up on everybody. This is going to be great. I like this team. This is something different. I haven't seen it before. You've got 1 Raider, 2 healers, 2 strikers. So, consider switching Surfer to a Raider. I think he does better as a Raider, especially on defense because you're not piloting him. He's not going to hit a lot of vulnerables on this build, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to give you an A- for this team. The only thing that you can do differently is change Surfer's ISO. Otherwise, really good. Team number 9, Heroes for Hire. You've got a Shang-Chi who is twice as big as Luke Cage. So you put him next to him to absorb the splash damage. He can do that without going under 50%, depending on, who's going into this, obviously. I mean, if it's a big slappy punch down, then yeah, he'll go under 50%. But if your Shang-Chi is twice as big as Luke Cage, you put him next to Luke Cage because he can absorb the splash damage without losing a charge. If not, you put Shang-Chi as far away from Luke Cage as possible so that chain effects don't affect it. However, Dark Hunters have arrived, and so now we are moving Luke Cage off the outside. Same thing with the YA. You're going to move your Ms. Marvel off the outside just in case. That way that disruptive chain attack doesn't start with Luke Cage, and Luke Cage will either get a taunt or they'll have to choose between starting on Luke Cage and going one direction or the other and leaving some of those negative effects off of there. So let's get a placement change. If you're seeing Morbius into this team, you're going to need a placement change. If you're not seeing any of those Dark Hunters in your war bracket just yet, then don't worry about it. You might be in a smaller war bracket, so it might not be an issue. So I'm not going to dock you for it yet, but next month I will start docking people for having a Luke Cage on the outside. Everything else, we got Healer. I like Skirmisher, but Healer's okay. Striker, Skirmisher, Raider, and Healer. Definitely want to change him to a Fortifier. He's dying and reviving, and those heals don't get much use. The reason why I like Skirmisher instead of Healer on Iron Fist is because of all that heal block that goes against this team, and you don't get a lot of value out of the Healer ISO. I'm going to go A-. If you were to change that ISO, I would give you an A for this team, and then in the future, get that Luke Cage off the outside. Team number 10 is the Web Warriors. They is what they is. I like your ISOs. I like your placement. I like everything you're doing here. Build them bigger. That's all I say. A for the team. Good job, Prominence. I appreciate you sending in your defense. If you want your defense featured on Defense Up, links are in the description. While you're down there, hit that like button. It really does help me out. If you don't like what I'm doing, talk to me in the comments down below. I read that from time to time. Remember, guys, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourselves and others too, and I will catch you next time. Bye.